conversation with a gentleman. Maybe it was 2 days ago, and he's a writer. Not gonna get too much of his business, but he made me think about something because I heard it again online about industries that are no longer. And the question was posed not by him, but online. What am I to do with this resume? And I have all of these years in this specific industry. This is all I know. This is all I've done. Right? I think about, and I posted this of the telephone operators. Y'all know the telephone operators used to put the things in their ears and do the things, the switchboard operators. Y'all remember that? Now, we weren't old enough back then to be, probably living around that time, but we saw pictures of them doing the switchboard and the whole thing. And I don't know why that came to mind, but you see how that's obsolete. Imagine if they did that for decades, right? They go to work and they did the switchboard operation thing, and that was their life. That was what they did. But then it disappeared. But their resume, that's what their resume said. I'm a switchboard operator, and I've been doing that for 15 years. What do you do with your resume at that point when the switchboard operation is gone? What do you do when it's gone? I used to ride the Amtrak in Chicago, and I used to go visit my aunt, and she was in the secretary pool. Y'all remember that? Anybody remember secretary pool? She was in the secretary pool, and I would go to work with her, and it was a bunch of secretaries typing on the typewriter, right? Those are no more. But she did that for years. So imagine if her resume just said, I was a secretary for whatever company that was, and very proud of the fact that I'm in the secretary pool and I got chosen for this and for that. And so I saw this guy on X, and he was sharing, I've been doing this for 17 years. It was in the music industry. And he said that he was in A&R. And he would go to the radio stations and he would say, I got this new artist. I want you to play their album so everybody would hear it, And he just made a good point. He was just like, okay, what do I do with my resume now? Because music is now streaming. You can go to Spotify, you can go to iTunes, you can go to Sirius, except you can just stream your music. We don't necessarily need the radio people to give us a play, because we can go to YouTube, we can go to TikTok, we can go to wherever, right? And get our music out there. We can go to the streamers. And then I had a call, and I talked to this gentleman, and he was just sharing, I used to do this for this company, and I used to work for all these broadcast networks, and I used to do this, but they're digital now. They're going digital. My daughter was just sharing with me today, and she was sharing how something else was going digital. She was like, Mom, I remember when you used to write in the AJC, and back home it was called the Register Star, and used to put jobs and things in there, and you don't do that anymore. And so I thought tonight what we would talk about is, if some of your industries are being disrupted, how do we transition? What if that's all we know? I talked to somebody on TikTok the other day, and she had 8 years as a dialysis tech. What do I do? This is all I know. This is all I've done. Right? Same thing with me. I showed inside of the community that they got this new, they're pouring millions and millions. They just got funding for an AI recruiter. I said, well, this is interesting. And it's really good, if I'm being honest. So it's like, okay, this is what I tell people to be careful about. Is happening right here to me. Same thing. So let's talk about these different industries. We're going to talk through these. And if you recognize yourself in any of them, let's talk through this. How do we transition? Because that is the most popular question that I receive on LinkedIn, inside the community. When people email me, they talk about this and they say, I don't know how to transition my skills, my knowledge, my experience. I want to work in this industry. I want to work in this company, but this is all I know. So I thought today we'd go through a few. I have 10. I don't know how many we're going to get through, but let's talk through these. Some of these are going to be familiar to you. The first one is the retail industry. Now, this isn't new, right? Hey, Susan, you're on vacation and you're checking in. Look at that. Crystal said Lily Tomlin played us. Oh, that's right. I love her. She was so funny. So funny. So funny. The first one is the retail industry. Now, how many of us know we know the retail industry is being disrupted or has been disrupted? I remember I was going to go to Walmart the other day, and the store is gone. The store is gone. It's gone. Read in the news, Macy's closes down all these buildings, all these buildings, right? What's the number one retailer right now that we all know and love? Amazon, right? So if you've been in retail all of your life, you were a merchandiser, a merchant. I remember I used to hire for merchandisers at Macy's. If you were, who's the people that buy the clothes and stuff? If you were that person and you buy for the mannequins and you buy stuff to put on the racks and stuff, if you're that person, that's all you've done. You grew up through the stores and all of that. What do you do with those skills and knowledge? And you're proud that you came in as a part-time or intern, and then you came up through the ranks, and now retail is Amazon. You just go online and you order something. What do you do if that's all you know? Right? And so you want to think about, okay, how has this industry, how has it been disrupted? How has it changed? What are we doing now? Because we still need to shop. How many of you said, oh, I'm never going online? We talked about this the other week. I'm never going online, and I'm never buying anything online, because I was that person. I'm not putting my credit card online. Are you kidding? I can't do it fast enough now, right? If I want to get something. So when you think about these industries and you think about transitioning, the disruption for the retail industry, that's what we're talking about specifically as we're going to go through as many as we can get through tonight. We think about the rise of e-commerce. We think about Amazon, right? And we think about how you can buy things online. I saw a commercial the other day that they were getting into healthcare. We're going to talk about that one next. Did y'all see the commercial that they just ship it right to your home if you got any medication? So retail has significantly disrupted traditional brick and mortar retail. Companies like Amazon have transformed consumer expectations, leading to the decline of many physical stores. Now, how do we pivot? If you're a retail professional, some of the roles that you can think about, some of the things that I wrote down, I have here, is e-commerce management, digital marketing. You hear that all over, you hear that all online, right? Digital products, digital marketing, you hear that all over, all online. I know y'all hear it a lot over there on TikTok. You can think about supply chain logistics and customer experience design. So think about some of the shops that are online. I know some of you women, you know about, what is it called? Posh and Etsy and eBay. And there's a lot of places now where you can Facebook Marketplace, right? There's shops now online. And so if you're thinking about pivoting and transitioning, you want to start thinking about, okay, what are they doing now? If this industry is being disrupted, what's happening now, and how is it being disrupted? Right? So your thinking should be, how do I leverage the skills that I had in the retail space and now transition them over to e-commerce? Can I manage an Etsy store? Can I approach the owner and see if I can help them manage and help them to put digital looks together and share this out on social media, or get some people to model clothes? So you have to think differently. Right? You think about digital products. You see that all over the place. People saying you can do this with digital products that you used to have to go to the store to buy. And so now people are selling their own digital products, right? From ebooks to e-guides to courses to all these different things, online marketing. So how do you take that and manage that? If you're thinking of transitioning or pivoting, these are some of the things that you may want to consider when it comes to the retail industry. Let's move on. The next one let's talk about is healthcare. I touched on this a second ago, talking about Amazon moving into the healthcare industry. If you're in healthcare, what are some of the changes that you're seeing in healthcare? What are some of the disruptions that are happening in that industry? There's a lot of different roles and positions. And when you think about healthcare, what are some of the disruptions, and how do you transition those skills now into something more innovative, into an emerging industry? So the healthcare industry is experiencing a transformation with the adoption of telemedicine, wearable health tech, and AI-driven diagnostics. I did a beta test for a wearable health thing here in Atlanta. They had it downtown. Now, these changes are reshaping how healthcare services are delivered. Healthcare professionals can explore roles in health tech startups. So have you heard of health tech, med tech, digital health consultancy, telemedicine, service management? I don't think I've seen my doctor. I think we do a lot of tele things, right? So if you're in healthcare, you want to go where the disruption is. Where is it happening? You guys see online, some of the robots now are doing the surgery and things, right? So how can I leverage my knowledge in healthcare? If I'm a nurse and I want to transition, should I get into health tech? Should I, go where some of these startup companies are? And think about, how do I leverage my skills and my knowledge, my experience and my talent in this space? Because this is a space that is for the future, that is ahead of me versus what I've learned and where I've worked in the past. So positioning yourself and figuring out where the disruption is happening. So when we talked about retail, we know the brick and mortars are no longer there. I told you I went to a Walmart, it's gone. We heard about all the stores being closed by Macy's. We see some of the other brick and mortars, they're gone. Okay, everybody's going online. So I got to think, how do I leverage my skills and make them have them transition online? How do I leverage my skills in that industry? Right? And thinking about healthcare, it's a super lucrative industry, and we know it's not going anywhere. So if I was in the healthcare space, if I'm a nurse, if I'm a doctor, if I'm there was a dialysis tech over here on TikTok the other day. If that's me, I'm thinking about my soft skills. I'm thinking about all of my technical skills, my hard skills as well. What have I learned? I know how to do this machine. I know that I interact with clients every day. I know that I do the charts and I work on this specific software. Maybe I'll check out and see who's actually the brand behind this software, behind this this tool, behind this digital platform that I'm using to run their records, or the EMR, or things like that. So not just what you're doing physically, but sometimes you have to get strategic and think about things versus what do I do? It may be time to start thinking about, where can I move strategically? What makes sense? Because I work on this machine every day. I work on this dialysis. I work with people that's on a dialysis every single day. But it may not dawn on you that the owner or the brand of that dialysis machine could be hiring. And you can leverage your knowledge and transition it into working with that brand. And I'll give you a tip. You want to go where tech is, and tech is everywhere. So think about the tools and the software that you use on a day-to-day basis. You don't even think about it. You just log in and you get on the tool. So for me, it'll be applicant tracking systems. I use them every single day. I don't think anything of it because I just use it every day. But what if I reached out to the brand of ATS and I see what they're hiring for? And I'm leveraging my skills because I know how to use this software, right? So tomorrow when you're going into work, think about the tools that you're using. When you log on and you're using certain things, you don't even think about it. You just use it. You got to log into this. You're using this software, right? Or to do your job, maybe you're using something else that helps you to do your job more efficiently and effectively. So this is a way to think about transitioning. Y'all with me?